Welcome back to X and Yong. Today we have a special segment. We are going to discuss about the cost of living in Singapore. Do you know that Singapore has been ranked the most expensive city to live in for 5 years by the Economist Intelligence Unit? So as foreigners, we always have the impression that everything here is way more expensive than our old home country, which is Malaysia. So today, we especially invite an expat who has been working and living in Singapore for at least 2 years to share his cost of living in Singapore. So I heard that the rental in Singapore is very expensive. Is it true?
It depends on the person, okay? Let's say you were like us, we rent a room and then it costs us $800. So $800 when we split it, it's only $400, right? So the cheapest room here for a single room is $600 for HDB. HDB is a Singapore public housing. The long name is Housing Development Board. So if you were to stay and rent in a HDB room, it'll be cheaper.
Okay, so it's about $400 to $600 lah. What about the whole unit ah?
A whole unit HDB rental costs about 1,500 up to 2,000 plus, about near 3,000. So yeah, give and take. Where depends on the location and also how big the HDB is.
So 1,500 means how many rooms inside?
Usually 1,500 is 2 rooms.
Okay, so Mr. X, can you share with us how much do you spend on a monthly basis?
I spend about $1,000.
So what do you spend on? Maybe you can share the breakdown.
The first thing is accommodation. Like I said, $400 is accommodation, rental. Then another thing is food. Of course, you need to eat every day, so food will be $400 also. And then the last one is transportation, which will be around $150. Okay.
Okay. In terms of food, how much does this cost for a proper meal in Singapore?
Yeah, a proper meal here, you got the cheapest one, which is going to hawker centers or food courts. This one generally costs around $5. On the cheaper end, you can get $2.50 or $3. On the much more expensive end, it's $8, $9, $10. So average about $5, you can get a very good meal. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of transportation.
Food first lah.
Food.
Okay. We only talk about the cheaper option. Okay. Oh, alamak.
Okay, so that's like if you are disciplined to spend at the cheaper end of the food.
Yeah.
What about dining in the shopping mall and the restaurant?
That would be a bit more expensive. Okay, the mid-tier end, I call it the mid-tier because it's everywhere. It's called McDonald's, KFC, Mos Burger, Pizza Hut, and what's one more?
Fast food.
Subway. Yeah. So these are in the mid tier. You know, it costs around $8 to $9 like this. Then we go higher. It's usually restaurants like Western food restaurants. These small cafes. So this one it'll cost about $15 and $20, give and take. Then you go higher again. There is a hot pot where you can eat with many people, and then it'll generally cost around $20 per person.
Sounds like there are many types of food choice in Singapore, and the price range is very widespread. So it depends on your choice. Okay. In terms of transportation, you mentioned you spend around $150. How much does it cost for one way to travel from your home to work?
Currently, I stay in Chinatown, which is in central Singapore. Okay, and then now I work in Jurong West, which is western side of Singapore. That'll cost me about $1.49.
Too bad lah. What about from one end of Singapore to the other end?
You mean to Changi? To Changi Airport, that would cost about $1.80 during non-peak hours. Peak hours, I think it's about $2. Yeah, no. It's very cheap. Public transport in Singapore is really affordable if you work here. Yeah.
That's public transport, but sometimes like during rush hour, right? What about the cost of taking taxi?
Oh, okay. Taxi is a bit pricey, of course. Exponentially pricey, not a bit. Okay. You're talking about Grab. Taking a Grab, below 10 minutes ride, it'll cost about $5 to $7. Below $10. But if it goes to like 30 minutes, that will cost about $25. Yeah, and a trip to Singapore. No, I haven't experienced that before. I just take MRT. Yeah.
Okay, it's around $10, like even just 5 stop away. Yeah. So
5 stop. What do you mean?
5 stop of MRT. 5 MRT stop.
That's how you calculate the distance.
For Grab car, I think below $10 is acceptable for one way if you really need the ride. So as we walk along this city, right, it's actually a paradise for shopping. So do you have a budget for shopping every month?
Well, unfortunately I do. Because sometimes I need to shop. Okay, either to buy clothes or maybe to buy a pair of shoes that or maybe watches, because I like watches and things like that. So I budget about $200 a month. Although even though I budget $200, I don't spend it just because I have the budget. Like some months I don't spend it at all, so I can save more money. Some months I need to spend.
Aside from the fixed expenses, what type of entertainment you do during the weekend?
Generally, Singapore, we go for free entertainment or not free. Free means sightseeing, of course, because Singapore there is a lot of places to go. We can go to Marina Bay Sands, have a walk around. We can go to Pulau Ubin. That's a bit how much? $3 just for a boat ride. Yeah, a bumboat ride. Then we have, what do we have again? We can watch movies. Yeah, movies cost a bit, about $9 on weekdays, and on weekends it costs more. So the rule of thumb is just go on the weekdays, it costs below $10. But on weekends it's 14, I think. $13, $14. It's pricey.
So the entertainment cost can range from zero. But what are the most expensive type of entertainment you have paid for it?
Of course, to USS, Universal Studios Singapore. It's pricey, man. This is not an ad. It is pricey. It's about $70 last time.
Yeah,
$70 plus dollars, man. Oh, God.
Other than Universal Studio,
Zoo. We went we went to the zoo, Singapore Zoo, right?
Kind of expensive.
How much? I forget. $40. Yeah, it's $40.
Okay.
A little bit.
So the most expensive entertainment is still below $100 in Singapore. That's acceptable.
Yes.
What about going out of Singapore? Because there are many other places around Singapore that you can travel to, right?
Okay, Singapore is very special because it's located in Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia is one of the most cheapest regions to travel in the world. Okay, we have Thailand, we have Burma, we have Vietnam, we have Laos, Malaysia, Indonesia. All these countries are way cheaper than the normal first world countries. Okay, because their currency is low. I mean, when you compare the exchange rate, and then you can really travel on a budget. Yeah, for very low budget. Low budget, below $500, you can travel all you want and enjoy the food, enjoy the culture, enjoy everything. So Singapore in the middle. So the flight tickets are $200 plus, about that. So it's really affordable to travel if you're in Singapore.
So that sounds very attractive. Let's stay in Singapore. The true cost in Singapore is still around 1,000. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree. But 1,000 is on the lower end. Okay, because like I say, I use public transport. Most of the time, I eat in hawker centers.
Okay, sounds like the cost of living in Singapore can be at the lower end
Lower
or
range,
to
yeah.
middle or high end lah. So it depends on your choice. So if given you three words to describe the cost of living in Singapore, what would you say?
It's actually affordable. Yeah.
Okay, so it's affordable for you to stay in Singapore.
Yeah.
What about you? If you are staying in Singapore, how do you think about the cost of living in Singapore? So thank you very much for watching. If you have any comment or ideas and opinion or question, you can comment below. We can answer your question.
Yeah. So do subscribe to XN Young channel if you like this video, and do give it a thumbs up. We post weekly, so stay tuned. Alright.